Today we are in Sequoia National Park and we're gonna hike to Little Baldy and Tokopah Falls. Our hike will begin on the General Highway, and this is gonna be a 3.3 mile hike. Here is the map of Little Baldy. So now we begin our hike to Little Baldy. The first half of this hike is mostly elevation gain, so the first half of it is going to be the most intense part of doing the hike. A little bit past the halfway point, things will begin to smoothen out for us, but for now, it's going to be straight incline or elevation gain. So as you can see, this hike is going to be through the woods, and you will get see some peaks and some mountains along the way as we make our way through these trees. And you're going to get to see the different shades of green and orange texture on the leaves. And you can see the clouds from a distance. And you just get these amazing views of Sequoia National Park. And down there you can see the forest, and the clouds form above the mountains. So there are some switchbacks on this trail. And this is one of the switchbacks that we're going to do. And you're going to see the incline as I make my way up this mountain. This is a relatively short hike. I would say it's a good peak starter if you're looking to challenge more mountain hikes. But this is definitely one I would recommend starting with if you want to go on to something bigger and a taller peak. And of course, once you get up to this mountain, you're going to feel the breeze. It's about 46 degrees up here. Down in the valley, it's about 95. So there's definitely going to be a change in the temperature once you get on this trail. And the path is pretty easy to follow as we make our way down this hike. There are going to be some fallen trees along the way, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. And you're going to notice smaller trees right there on the side, which look pretty neat. You could use them as Christmas trees. Of course, I wouldn't recommend trying to chop one down and taking it home with you, but they definitely look pretty neat. And right now it's really foggy and really misty. So as we make our way through the trail, you will start to notice the fog and the mist become more apparent. And this is one of the fallen trees that I was telling you about. And right here is a viewpoint as we make our way to Little Baldy. So right now it's pretty foggy and misty, so you can't really see much of the park. But usually on a clear day, you could see everything. And it's also a nice little rest stop as you make your way to Little Baldy. Of course, you can see all the fallen trees due to fire damage. And there are some stair steps to help guide you along this hike. And we have arrived to Little Baldy. And right now we're basically up in the clouds. So at this point in the hike, I definitely felt the mist coming onto me. So it's pretty neat. Not much viewpoints, but still a pretty good hike. And now we're just gonna go ahead and head to Tokopah Falls. But for now, we're just gonna check out this little meadow, and you can see a bear down there eating grass or berries. This is pretty neat, as I don't normally see bears when I go hiking. So this is actually my first bear sighting. All right, so this is a 7-mile drive from Little Baldy, and this is gonna be at the Lodgepole Campground. And we're gonna start here and go to Tokopah Falls. And we're gonna cross that bridge. And from there on, we'll see the trailhead sign. And from there on, we'll go to the waterfall. And today it's really packed because it's Memorial Weekend, so a lot of tourists were coming in. And here it is, the trailhead sign to Tokopah Falls. So this is a 4-mile hike. And you're gonna get beautiful views of the creek as you make your way through this trail. And of course you get sweeping views of the mountains, the lush blue skies, the clouds. This hike is reminiscent of my hike to Vernal Falls. Very similar, where I crossed the bridge, walked along the river or the creek, and just some of the way the rocks are formed reminds me a lot of my hike to Vernal Falls. But this is actually in Sequoia National Park. The other one was in Yosemite, but still similarities. And you can see the water looks very clear. It has that bright green look to it. I'm just looking up the other side, and you can see these views. And you can see some campgrounds right there on the side. People have their tents out. So a lot of people come to this particular area to camp. And reservations were actually booked for this particular campground, and pretty much all the campgrounds on this weekend due to Memorial Day. And you can see an orange tent from a distance as we make our way through this hike. And this is actually a pretty kid-friendly hike. The trail is only about 643 feet of elevation gain, so it's nothing too crazy. So children should be able to handle this hike. And there are some stair steps on this hike to help guide us. It's pretty straightforward. Just go straight, follow the path, and then eventually it'll take you to the waterfall. And at this point, we're about halfway through the hike. And we can just stop along the way and admire the views as we get closer to our destination. And that right there is the watchtower, I believe, which is actually another trail in Sequoia National Park that takes you to 5 different lakes, which is one I want to check out sometime in the future. But it's a very strenuous hike. There's some wildlife right there, as you can see.
We'll just get straight.
And be very courteous and make way for the other hikers as you get your way on the trail. These are definitely calendar shots right here. And there is some elevation gain, but like I said, not a lot of elevation gain. And right here, we're going to make a creek crossing over this bridge. And another creek crossing. And as you can see, this trail is actually pretty well paved. And another creek crossing over this bridge. And as you can see, we are approaching the falls. We are from a distance. So we're just going to make our way through these rock steps and these enormous boulders. And we have arrived to the waterfall. So I will get closer in a bit. Here is the view of the meadow, the mountains, and the falls. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.